Hi, everyone. Sorry, I had trouble getting in. We can call the meeting to order. I don't know what time it is. 7:03. And can I have a motion to elevate the alternates, please?
Motion to elevate the alternates.
Oh, is Diane here to take notes?
I'm here. Yep.
Thank you.
I'll try to do a better job this time.
You did fine. Okay, so we have a motion from Blythe. Can I have a second, please?
Second.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Say aye.
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 Any opposed? Acceptance of the agenda. Motion, please.
Make a motion, we accept the agenda.
Thank you, John. Second, I have a second.
Second.
Kate?
Yep.
Okay. All those in favor? Say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Acceptance of the minutes from March 22, March 24, or March 22 special monthly meeting, and then March 24, 26, and April 1st special meeting. I need a
Make a
motion
motion, we accept.
for that, please. From John, second.
I'll second it.
Were those minutes were circulated, Lynn? I don't think I got those.
I was wondering because the only one that I was thinking of would be the April 1 because the rest would have been done by Leslie. I was gonna go back and look at that and I didn't get a chance. Can anyone go back and check that to see what minutes we got?
I'll go now.
We'll move on from that while you're checking that. Thank you.
Okay.
I don't know that we have any correspondence. I don't know, is Joyce on here? She's received anything or wants to say anything?
I
Can
didn't
we move
receive
on?
anything, Lynn, I'm sorry.
That's okay, thank you. Public and invited guests, is there anyone that wants to say anything? We don't have a director's report or an interim director's report. We can move on past that and start with the after-school program. I was able to hire a woman, a young woman. Jean and I met with her and had an interview, and she started today. She'll be there with the current lead counselor training for the next 3 days, and then she'll be on her own till the end of the year. Well, not on her own, she has a counselor there, but she'll be there, the lead counselor, till the end of the year. Her name is Anna Nolan. And what else? As far as pre-K eligibility, we may just want to postpone that. I don't know how you guys feel about that.
You say that again, Lynn, I'm sorry.
The pre-K eligibility, or about the person we hired?
Yeah, no, that was it. That was the pre-K eligibility. You were asking us how we feel about that?
Yeah, or if we should just postpone it. Do we need to talk about it now or wait till we get? I don't know. It doesn't really have to do with the
Wasn't
director.
everyone kind of in agreement that we should, if we did that, we should start it next year?
I think so. It's probably just on here to keep it on here.
Yeah.
Yeah, Abigail talked about it last week.
Okay. Any other questions on ASP?
Lynn,
Yeah.
in terms of, oh, I'm sorry, in terms of minutes, all I can find is that Leslie sent something in on the 15th of March and the 26th of March. So that was, I think that would have caught us up. The 26th was the last one before the April 1st meeting, but those are the last minutes that I have in my inbox.
Okay. So we may have to, we'll go back up to, are we done with ASP? Did anybody have anything to say on that?
I'm sorry to have
Questions?
jumped in there.
That's all right. All right, so if we go back up to number 4, we'll accept the minutes of March 22nd and March 24th, the March 22nd monthly meeting, March 24th and March 26th special meeting. Is that what you're saying, Arun Blythe?
Yes.
Okay. And we will put the April 1st on next month. And we'll get those. They were submitted to the town clerk, but I don't think they were submitted to us. I didn't resend them back out. Apologize for that. So can I have a motion to accept the minutes of March 22, 24, and 26, please?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Did you get that, Diane?
Yeah, John, was that John? Okay.
That's me.
John and Blythe is fine. Okay, a motion to accept. I'm sorry. Everybody in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Hang on.
Thank you. Okay, so back down to B, Parks, Project and Seasonal Worker.
Okay, so before we start, I'd like to bring in Miranda.
Okay,
Aye.
She's going to
Hi,
talk about
Miranda.
she's going to talk about the baseball fields.
okay.
So
Can I
I'm
just ask, Moran, what's your last name?
Lovato, Lovato.
Thank you.
So relatively new member on the Fields Commission. I've been talking to a few people. We're trying to improve the fields over at Kent Center School. And I've talked to a few companies, and from the sounds of it, we have one problem is that we have a grub problem. And then there's also geese that are on the fields frequently. And one recommendation I had gotten that seems to be a pretty solid one is that we should top dress the fields, which is just adding topsoil and organic matter, and then overseed it. But that is something that needs to happen in the fall. And then controlling the geese is another issue. There are a number of strategies to do that, but we're probably limited because we're at a school site. And so I think that's something that we probably should look into, but right now they're nesting and having babies, so we probably can't do much of anything now, but maybe in the fall. There's services that you can bring dogs out onto the fields that kind of chase them off. And then they kind of just get trained to not go there, supposedly, if that works. There's people that do that. So that's one strategy. And there's also something that you can put on the fields. I don't know yet if that is okay for a school site. I assume it would be, but it somehow makes the grass reflective to them, so they don't want to land on it. So those are the two main options for that. But like I said, that's probably not something that we can do until the fall. And then, so we've got two companies right now that are coming out to do work. One was recently done. They fertilized. Must have been end of March, early April. They did the spring fertilizer. And then I think they're set to do, I think they do 4 throughout the year. And then there's another company that comes out to take care of the infields, which I don't believe has been done yet. So I think I had reached out to some companies for some quotes for having doing grub control and trying to find it now, and the overseeding, the top dressing and overseeding. And I only heard back from one company, which is New England Turf, which is currently doing work for us now. Bear with me here. So they quoted so Grub Gone is what the product is called, and it's based on 7 acres, and it was $45.50. And slicing and overseeding in August is $6,160. So this is just one quote, and I think that New England Turf, for whatever reason, doesn't do top dressing, and I think that's important. So I'm trying to find other companies that would do both top dressing and overseeding. I don't know that it makes sense to hire 2 different companies to do those 2 things. So long story short, I'm still reaching out to contractors. I think we want a few more quotes. I don't, just to see what people are coming in at. And I think we do have time, because what we're going to be doing sounds like it's going to be happening in the fall if it happens this year at all. So I think that's the summary. I took a few pictures when I was out there, but I don't know if I can share my screen or not, but.
Miranda, I'm sorry. Did you say that the grub, what was it? Grub Gone, something like that? Was
Yeah.
that was 45 something? Was that was per acre, or was that everything?
Based on 7 acres, so that's everything.
Okay.
And I imagine, you know, you do it 1 year, you're not going to see, it's going to take a few years, I imagine, to see results. And it's a relatively new product. So, but it is supposedly approved to be used on K through 8. It's an organic product.
Would it
Any
be
questions,
helpful?
anybody?
Go ahead.
Any questions?
I was just going to say, Miranda, would it be helpful? We've got our fields up here at the school. If I find out who we use, I could just pass along contact information to you so you could get another quote.
Yeah, definitely. That would be very helpful. Yeah.
I don't think we have that much in our playing field subcommittee, or playing field money.
Right. So yes, that is something that would need to be addressed. And then moving forward, I think, you know, now that we're maintaining these fields, we probably need to budget more money to do this type of work. If not every year, then every other. The top dressing probably needs to be done frequently.
Mhm. Maybe the school can help. I don't know. We'll have to see.
Yeah,
time.
it sounded like there was maybe the school. I mean, I don't want to speak for the school, but it sounded like we could at least talk to them to see if they would be willing to go in on it.
Although, when we were discussing some of this with the Board of Selectmen, Mr. Garrity said, "You need something, just ask." So can always do that too.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we'll do our due diligence and get the best cost and then make a recommendation.
Mhm.
I'm sorry, just to clarify, you said it was probably approved to use with K through 8, or do we know that for a fact, or do?
I'll reach out and reconfirm that. He sent an article that said that the article was from like 2015, and it said they were working on getting approval for K through 8. And I'm pretty sure when I talked to him on the phone, he had said it was approved, but I will confirm that. But yeah, they were working on it a while ago, so I will double check.
That'd be great.
When you say it needs to be done frequently, you mean probably likely yearly?
I don't know. Maybe because I'm not really a turf specialist, but I would imagine it's, you know, probably every other year, if not every year. You know, it depends on how much the fields get used. It helps too, though we don't have enough fields probably to do, depending on what we're programming on the fields. A lot of times they'll rest fields, so they'll rotate the fields and not use one year and then use a different one the next year, and kind of work on one while they're resting the other. I don't know if that's a possibility, but that's just something that they sometimes do. But yeah, I have a contact that I used to work with at a park district, and he had sent me an email. I had reached out to him and asked him some techniques that he uses to maintain their fields, and he said top dressing is something you're going to want to do. But I can reach back out to him and see how often they're doing it. But I mean, that is not really a good comparison, because totally different communities and different programming, and probably more use than we would maybe see here.
Any other questions for Miranda?
Thank you,
Do you have any
Miranda.
questions?
I may sign off here if,
That's fine.
okay.
Yeah, thank you for all
All
your
right,
work.
thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank
Yep.
you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
I have a dog that would volunteer to chase the geese.
Same.
Just cost you a couple of greenies.
Yeah. All right, so we're gonna have to, I don't think we need to discuss that anymore tonight, but it will stay.
So we have to make that decision before the
July.
fall, so we can line
Yeah.
someone up. So we have
July.
time to get some more quotes.
We'll have Miranda come back next month and see if she has any more information.
Yeah, yeah, I mean, the maintenance is important, but we have time to get some more quotes, I guess.
Especially since it's fall stuff, none of that stuff has to be done now, is what she said, right?
Yep.
All right. John, you want to talk about the part-time hire or where we are with that or how we should proceed?
I think that was put off for a little bit. But anyway, we can talk about the parks for now.
Okay.
Diane, do you have any of those pictures that you can share?
Yeah, let me just figure out how to do this. I'm on the Google Doc where I have them all in Google
Right.
in file. So let me just, I know I did this once before. You go down and hit share screen, right? Where is it? It's not it. I know I opened it. Okay, hold on.
So Diane volunteered and took some pictures of the parks to show everybody and what condition they're in.
Yeah, well, John, just if you want to start talking about it, I'll see if I can. Okay, wait, let's see. Can you guys see this now?
We see you.
You still see me? Okay, wait, hit share screen again. How come?
Joyce, maybe Joyce knows.
It's not like when I hit share. Okay, let me try it again. Share screen. Share screen. There it is. Can you guys see
great.
that?
Yep,
Yeah.
there you go.
Okay, so what we'll do is we'll start with the top picture. And as you can see, that's the gates for the tennis court.
Mhm.
In previous, almost every year, somebody's in there that shouldn't be in there when the gates are locked.
Bent. You can see this is bent, by the way. This doesn't work.
And you can see, yeah, so from the pictures, it doesn't, somebody can get in there easily. A lot of times in the wintertime, you'll catch people in there with their dogs walking around the tennis courts, which is not a great idea. And also too, I sent you a locking system for the tennis courts. Do you still have that?
I looked at it. I think it's a great idea.
I do too. I liked it a lot.
You saw it too? Okay, good. Because basically you can get into 30 codes and then you can go over it again. This way we can keep track of anybody who's got a pass. They can get in and out. It's not an expensive system. It doesn't require Wi-Fi. It doesn't require power. It's all battery operated, which are rechargeable batteries. And I think it's well worth this purchase. We can monitor people going in and out, and we wouldn't have to worry about it, and make sure that the people that are paying for their passes, not like in previous years where the guy was teaching tennis lessons without any permission. So I'd like to bring that up later if we can. Lynn.
How much was that running, John?
I think it was, I'm not sure, I think it was $450 I quoted you, right? Does that sound right?
I saw it, but did not get a chance to look closer.
So basically, you can get it from any pool company or any fence company. They can come and install it. It doesn't take that long, maybe 2 hours at the most to install this thing. And again, it doesn't require Wi-Fi, doesn't require power. I think one of them was called the Bulldog, and then the other one was called the Mighty Lock, but they're both the same company. So I would suggest that to the Park and Rec to do that, since Mike is going to be doing tennis lessons, right, Mike?
Yeah,
That's right.
Go ahead.
Is that
You
a
can see where-
clay? That's a clay floor, right, in the tennis courts? Is that what
No.
it's referred to as?
No, it's cement.
Man,
It is cement?
yeah. Mike, too, we're gonna have to post something on the gates for either signups or the times that you're gonna use it,
Okay.
all right?
I think some people will probably get some flack for doing that, but I think because of the issues of the vandalism that's been happening, and you know, I don't know. I know there's been people skateboarding on it and roller skating on it. And I don't know if that I don't know, Lynn, if you were able to research that at all and see if that affects the surface.
Are you referring to the
Yeah, I saw
post the other
something
day? Yeah, that was real rough.
I've seen kids in there, and you know, if they're not you know,
That was my question, why I asked if it was clay, because from what I understand, and Michael is a tennis person, maybe he can clarify this, but if it was a clay, like the softer flooring, it could do like skateboards and stuff would do damage, but since it's cement, it'll be okay. It won't damage it.
Yeah, I mean, if it was, I mean, if it was like a private club, they probably wouldn't want people doing anything on the cement, but yeah, it's not really a big deal.
I've been
Has there been any damage to nets, or the net's not up yet?
Well, the nets are always staying up and unfortunately,
yeah.
due to them staying up all the time, and we couldn't take them down either, but part of the base of the netting is starting to rot away because it's submerged in water. So that's something else that we should keep in mind for next year. But yeah, you can see the damage on the fence and people trying to get in. But once we have this gate system up and people can get by the passes, we don't have to worry about skateboarders anymore or dog walkers. As you can see in the top of this photo, on the top right-hand corner where the gate is, you can see how it's broken apart.
Mm-hmm.
What
that has
months
to be-
are the gates left?
Well, that's the back one. That's where the people from, oh, I'm not going to say it. But anyway, people were coming in from the back end
Okay.
and they just broke that lock.
But why, like, it's not, I mean, I've been playing there a couple times a week, and why would they be trying to go in through the back end? Like, it's fine going in on the side where the.
Well, it's quick access and for exiting in the back there, so you can get back up into those common park houses. But we had to lock that up because they were breaking the gates, as you can see.
Okay.
Right.
I was just going to say, I think the courts are in great shape. Like, I haven't noticed anything from people skateboarding.
No,
Or whatever.
well, they were just recently painted and taken care of last year. So yeah, they are in good shape. The only thing is the netting. If you notice, well, we don't have a picture of it. The netting
Yeah, I'm
across there, the two
surprised we
steps.
leave the nets up year round.
What's that?
I'm surprised that we leave the nets up year round.
Yeah, I don't know what the purpose of, but I just, I guess it takes a lot of time to set it up and take it down. So that's the only reason I was told, so.
Hmm.
But definitely we could work on, having a better system.
The only
mean,
thing that I heard from somebody that uses the courts a lot is that there's a gap between the fence and the surface, and the balls, if they hit the fence in that area, Julia, you might know this, I don't know, this balls kind of escape.
Yeah, I mean, it's not that big a deal. It's like, could be a little bit annoying, but I mean, it only costs $35 for a park permit to play there. So I think it's okay. I wouldn't don't worry about it too much.
So I mean, I think we have to either say they're not allowed to skateboard and skate in there, or they're not. I'm actually curious myself because I have roller skates and I know the wheels are kind of soft. I don't want to roller skate on there if it's going to damage the and I might do that if there was nobody there on a day. I might go over there with my roller skates. But I think, I mean, are we going to allow people? Is that allowed or not? We probably have to have if we're not going to allow skateboarders and roller skaters, we should probably put something on the gate that says, they're not supposed to be in there. I mean, yeah, it is a concern about the net being damaged, I guess. But apparently, according to that comment on that string of comments on the community page, a lot of people think that you know, we should be letting the kids roller skate in there because they don't really have anywhere else to skate. So
You have to look at insurance on that too.
I'd be more concerned, like just in terms of the courts, about people walking their dogs on there. Just thinking of like dog nails and stuff, but also like if they went to the bathroom or anything, like to me that would be a bigger issue than kids roller skating on it. Not liability wise, but just the integrity of the courts.
yeah, and I know people do bring their dogs in there, so they work on training them because they can't escape.
Yeah, that.
So maybe we should put a sign on there, no dogs, but we should probably, maybe we should look into the insurance. And maybe we should put a sign that says no skating, no dogs, or one or the other, if that's what we decide to do.
Can I ask a question? Has anyone ever been playing tennis on those courts and had somebody skating simultaneously? Or so you're playing tennis and somebody's roller skating at the same time? Or you're playing tennis and somebody's walking their dog at the same time? Have any of these activities been happening simultaneously?
Not for me.
I haven't seen anything in all the years that I've been there.
I can't imagine the kids that were skateboarding would go in there when people were playing tennis.
I'm only asking, not to be a stickler, but if somebody, if a skateboarder has as much right to be on those courts as somebody playing tennis, then
Good point.
do you know what I mean? Like,
Well, you could set hours for different activities if you wanted to, but as long as everybody's paying for the pass, I mean, we can set up a schedule.
but then you're setting yourself up for, so you're playing tennis and now you've hit a kid with your tennis ball who's skateboarding because he has every right to be there. I don't know. Maybe I'm just jumping for problems.
The whole thing is, Kate, you got to have a schedule. I mean, you have so many hours worth of tennis, and then maybe in the evenings you have skateboarding. Who knows?
Yeah.
That's a simple way to do it.
You
But
could
as
just
long as
say
everybody's
something
paying
like,
for the-
yeah.
Yeah, but as long as everybody's paying for those passes, who cares? You just have to work out a schedule.
And you could even post something, in whatever we post, you could post something that says that tennis playing is the priority for the tennis courts.
Right.
And that if tennis players arrive and you're there, you're asked to respectfully allow tennis to happen.
Absolutely. Totally.
I think that's a good idea because it is a tennis court. I mean, I do feel bad for the kids, and I was kind of chuckling, Lynn, I'm sure you were too, reading that string on the community page. Oh, why don't we how come we don't make a skate park for the kids? And I'm thinking, if you want to cough the money up for it, we can do that.
Right.
I did say that.
Can I comment on that?
Yes.
Sure, Ed.
In 2001, you had $20,000 in your capital plan to approve a skateboard park, and the 6 people that wanted the tennis court decided that we needed 6 people to play on the tennis court more importantly than a skateboard park, after the kids had waited almost 5 years in the capital plan for the money to come out and go into a skateboard park.
Okay. That sounds good.
So,
Hey, why don't we do,
well,
why don't
no,
we do-
actually, John, you're wrong, because how many people buy tennis court park passes? That should be looked into someday.
well, the whole thing is
They're not
the whole thing-
separate.
Ed, the whole thing is the fact is they can get in and get out and don't have to pay for passes. Now with the
No.
locking system, they will have to pay for the passes.
Right, but you're going to run into a problem with skateboarding. I think they're going to tell you that it is a liability problem.
Well, here's
and
the
I
point.
think there was never skateboarding allowed on that. So
Okay, so here's the problem. We could take this and put it into the master plan for parks and put up think about putting up a skate park somewhere and a dog park somewhere, probably be by the garage, town garage. So we
well,
can
you're
move that.
not in that anyway. I just want to say that the problem was you did have a skate park and the town voted it down to spend the money to redo the tennis court. So if anybody asked you, just say there was money in there, but it never got done.
Okay, but we can also bring it up when we decide on the master plan. We could think about that.
And in the meantime, Lynn, how do we find out what liability would be if, in fact, there were kids skating without a helmet and somebody falls and breaks an arm. Like, we should certainly figure out what the liability issues are around even considering letting the kids have time on the, time for skating, or, letting people bring their roller skates, whatever it is. We should certainly know what the liability issues are.
So that would be through CREM or, not CREM, what are they called?
Karma.
I can't remember these.
Whatever.
Yeah. Harmon, yeah. So we'd have to call them and check, and I tend to agree that skateboard liability is not going to be allowed in there. They're going to frown on that when we are talking to an insurance company. Going along with that thread that was on the town page the other day, there was a lot of people saying, a legit question, like, what is there for the teens to do? And there's really no place for them to hang out. If they're at the pavilion or if they're skating in the park, in the tennis courts, they're afraid they're going to get in trouble. Like, they're sneaking in there and stuff because there's nothing else for them to do. And so on that aspect of them being in there, I get it. On the other aspect, I would think that the boards and rollerblades, or roller skating, things like that, might tear up the actual paint, which we spent a lot of money on. So, and knowing that we have money from the capital budget waiting to be used on playground and town park stuff, I'd almost like to start thinking about something like that. Like, they can't meet at the community house, even when it's open. Some sort of rec center would require volunteers or paid people and a place to hold it, and that's a lot to do. We have this perfectly good park. I think one of the things we should maybe do with our money is work on enhancing that. Maybe we take some of the money and, I don't know, come up with some ideas outside of the park plan, before the park plan. That's going to be a while.
At least you'll have a
I just-
plan in place for the master parks,
The kids do need somewhere to go, without feeling guilty about being there. I mean, yeah, it stinks that there's carvings all over the plastic picnic tables.
I agree, but they're doing that because they're bored.
Right. Right.
Maybe, yeah.
So maybe we could try to think up some ideas that are fairly simple, maybe not expensive, something we could start doing for these kids. Whether that be that we
have a lot of open space in that Commons Park. I mean, could we put that in the master plan to put a skate park in there?
That's what I'm saying. If we wanted to do like a simple skate park, if they're happy with, running around the tennis court, like, when you drive into the parking lot over on the left, like, could we put a small thing in there? Could we put, lay some tar down, or what? I guess, I don't know if they work on tar, but just lay something down. We could put one basketball hoop up.
I was going to say that, Lynn. Basketball. Yeah. That's.
I would advocate for that with the money that we currently have available.
I would too. I agree on that.
I agree also.
Of course, you could put a basketball hoop in the tennis court, but then that's exciting.
Well, and on that note, also, I think that the tennis court should be locked on both sides. Like, I don't know about that backside, what we do, or if we get two of these locks that John's talking about. But my personal opinion is that the gate should be locked with the bulldog or mighty lock thing.
Card reader system. Yeah, card reader
Yeah,
system.
the card reader. Maybe for people who want to play on the tennis courts, we charge them an extra $10 or $20. And with that, they're getting the tennis court that is just for tennis, and we can keep it maintained. Our park passes are very, very cheap. because, I don't know, because, do we give a number to everybody to go in there that buys a park pass?
Yep.
You can do that too. I think also we need to make up some nice signs with whatever hours or rules or things like that, so that it is actually posted that there's no skating in there. But if we're gonna post that, we need to give the kids another option. Maybe we, they skate in the pavilion. I mean, that's a nice cement floor. Maybe, I don't know. I think laying out a small basketball court or a half basketball court or something would be
Can I ask,
good attention.
would you guys, would the committee be completely opposed to putting a basketball hoop in the tennis court? If we establish like the tennis takes priority, and if somebody wants to play tennis, basketball moves off. But that would be such an easy addition. I mean, just to put a hoop up in there.
Who's going to enforce that for you?
That's a valid question. I guess if the rules, unfortunately, I guess as the tennis player coming on the court, you would have to enforce. I agree. It would be problematic. I'm just thinking that it's such a welcome and easy activity for a lot of kids to fall into a basketball game.
What
I think
about
It would be
I'm just
very
doing
used.
what about like the back of the fire department parking lot or something? Is there a parking area that could work for that?
I don't think there's anything. Is there anything back there, Gene?
That's a rental property in the back.
Or Ed? Oh, yeah.
We have the basketball courts at Kent Center School that like they're used every day after school, and then also I've seen like teenagers there on the weekends. And don't those fall under us? Like
No.
as being like
Yes.
fields, aren't those ours? So I'd almost be more inclined, like we have basketball really used there, that like a skate park would be something so different and like appealing to the non-basketball players.
Just to be honest with you, you're not going to have enough room for a skate park and a tennis court. We looked into this a long time ago to have both, and there's not enough property with the flooding from the brook that happens and stuff like that, and the way the property was lined out.
Maybe we fill in the pool at Emory and put a skate or cover it.
We actually had plans to fill in the pool at Emory Park and put a gunite pool inside of the pool. We actually had plans for a pool at the Common Park at one point too.
Gosh, Ed, how long ago was that?
When Jeremy and John were young and I was the chairman of the Park and Rec Committee.
Yeah.
We had Matt Hannon gave the town prices for both and the whole thing, and they still voted it down, and they decided they were going to keep the tennis court, even though then it was all cracked and broken and in disrepair, and skip the skateboard park.
I know a
Okay,
couple of times in my earlier years when I first started, there was some parents that came to a couple of meetings and wanted to get a skateboard park going, and they were told to come up with some ideas, more details, and come back to us, and they never came back.
well, I still think that we should put that to the parks master plan. But I do think we should vote on that locking system tonight so that Mike can get ready for his tennis lessons. And have a sign made up as to when they're going to have tennis lessons.
Do we know that information yet, Mike?
I was looking at the 2 weeks after 4th of July week, the Tuesday
Okay.
and Thursdays of those weeks.
And how many weeks will that run for, did you say?
For 2 weeks, the Tuesday and Thursday of those weeks.
Okay. So 4 sessions?
Correct.
Okay.
I'm sorry, when does it, when
Taking
is
notes.
it supposed to start?
July.
The Tuesday after July 4th?
The following week.
Tuesday after July 4th.
So the 13th and the 15th and the 20th and the 22nd is what I have focused on.
Okay.
And you're going to have Julia help you out, Mike?
Yeah, Julie and I haven't spoken about it, but whatever she's available to help out, that would be awesome.
All right, we're gonna need to get the sheets out, the information out for that so we can get people signed up.
So do you want to take a vote on that locking system?
Do we know which one we want?
It's the same thing. Bulldog and Mighty, whatever it's called. They're both the same company, just different labels on it. That's all.
They're both the same lock. They both have the same amount of
Yep.
entries.
Yep.
Can you explain to that thing again? You were talking about 30 entries or something?
Yeah, you can do, it takes 3 numbers and there's 30 entries, and then you can, if you sell more than 30 tickets, which we haven't done yet, we can just go back and reuse some of the other numbers as well. So no big deal.
Okay.
Right. But you don't have
And
to
you
have it wired. You don't have to have it wired electrically. You don't have to have Wi-Fi. So you're free of all that stuff. Less maintenance, quick and easy.
So there's a maximum of 30, so it's a 3-digit code and there's a maximum of 30 codes.
Right. And which can be used over, if we go over the 30 tickets. I don't think we've ever sold 30 tickets, right, Lynn?
Yeah, we've sold more than 30 tickets.
We have?
I think so.
Okay.
Can't be 100% sure, but I think we have.
Yeah, you can use that same, people can have the same numbers twice. It's no big deal.
Okay.
And what kind of technology is required, or is it software or?
No software, just it punches in the numbers, it keys in the numbers. You enter your number, it okays it, and then it just goes from there.
So it's not a swipe system where we would have to be generating like heavily laminated park.
Nope. Just punch in the numbers, the 3-digit number. Simple, it's quick, easy.
So this would not be used as a way to say track who's coming and going in the tennis courts. It doesn't really have that capability.
No, it doesn't tell you, what time they use it, but it does tell you that they've purchased a ticket. And besides, it would keep a lot of these other strangers out of there.
No, it's a good idea. I like it.
So how do you program it? So if
You-
I sell a park pass and I assign somebody the 3-digit code, how does that machine know to allow that code?
Okay, so first of all, it's battery operated. And
Right.
it has a chip in it for that. It's all set up. So you'll first enter 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you'll hit the asterisk, and then you'll enter the 3-digit number, and then you'll hit 1, 2, 3, 4 after that.
So every time a park pass is sold, whoever sells the pass has to go and program that number into it.
Right.
Okay. And is it weather tight, I'm assuming?
Yep. Completely weather tight.
I would imagine we'd program 30 codes into it and then just give out those codes as they buy the passes.
Right. Which is the simplest way, Diane.
Okay.
I mean, even the fencing company, all fencing companies and pool companies will have that system available to purchase. So maybe we call in that company for the fencing, since we need some work done on the fencing gates. Maybe they can install that system at the same time.
Yeah, we're gonna have to fix the doors, huh? The gate.
Yeah.
So do we want to make a motion to purchase one of these locks and have the fence company come and fix the gates, or do we want to discuss it more? Can make a motion and then we can discuss it?
Is it worth talking to the fencing company about whether they've used anything like this before? Like, if we suddenly are looking at buying a system, like, let's say I'm looking at some of these pictures and the spacing and the gaps around the doors, like, I'm not sure how this thing is mounted, but if what we currently have as doors in and doors out is not going to work with the specifications for the Bulldog system.
Yeah, it is. It's
is?
designed for, yeah, round poles, square poles, whatever kind of poles are used
Okay.
for is it swimming pools or gates or anything like that, it's covered.
All right. Okay.
I think we need to get an estimate on how much the repairs are going to be.
Yep.
Before we can really vote
You
on
want to
it.
do it in 2 parts or just do it as one from a fencing company? The whole package.
My suggestion is we get the doors fixed first. We address that, or at least we get a quote for that. And we talk to them at that point about whether at the same time that they do that. I mean, it doesn't make sense to me to fix the doors so they're all nice, and then wait another month to install a system when this is what happens to the doors if you can't lock them. I would hate all that money to go to waste if somebody felt like they had to break, they could still break in before we installed the new system. My suggestion would be to contact the fence company to get an estimate on the doors and talk to them about whether or not at the same time that they come to do that work, they could install. the
Yeah.
system.
Yeah. That's a smart way to do it. Yeah.
Do we need a vote, Lynn, on getting an estimate?
I was just gonna ask that. I don't think we need I mean, we can be safe and do one. Charge John with getting an estimate for the fence, but I don't know that.
The only thing is I can't get
Oh,
out there. I'm
necessary.
still not mobile. Lynn, I'm still not mobile yet to get out there to talk to these guys.
Uh-huh.
So maybe you could get
Somebody can meet them.
Yeah. But I'll do the paperwork.
I don't even know if they need anybody. If they can just be directed there, they can see what needs to be done.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
John, can you talk to them on the phone and just tell, I mean, I'm happy to go over there and meet them. But I would just think they would just have to go and look at it if they just know what that the issue is vandalism and we just have to get the gates fixed and have the system installed.
Yeah, I'll call 3 companies and see locally. I'll call 3 companies and see what we can do. But the sooner the better. We have until July, before July.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah,
Want a motion?
So
Anybody
do we
want-
want to, sorry, John.
No, go ahead. I brought it up. I really can't make the motion. Go ahead.
So would someone like to just make a motion to be safe, to let John get an estimate?
I'll make a motion for John to get an estimate for the gate repairs and lock system.
I'll second that.
Do you want to wait another 30 days before we install it?
Well, unfortunately, we haven't gotten any budget papers. So we don't really know what we have, and I have no clue what we have right now, where we're at.
So we'll have to
I
ask the
don't even know
treasurer.
what's that?
We'll have to ask the treasurer.
Yeah. I'm not sure if she has that available.
So a quick question for Joyce. Joyce, what is the minimum that we have to put out for bid?
Well, it's a small project. I mean, within reason, I mean, if you only have 2 companies, that's fine. I mean, you're not talking a big expense. You're not,
Okay.
not a capital expense at this level.
No, I was just thinking like in the sewer commission, it's $1,500, so, okay.
Yeah, no.
Okay, we still have a motion. Is there any more discussion? All right, can I have all those in favor? Say aye, please.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries.
Okay, so we're going to continue on. As you can see, the pool is fully filled up by now. Hey, Diane, can you scroll up just a little bit?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was just writing some notes.
Okay.
Yep, we're looking at the pool now?
Yeah, the pool, yeah. Okay, so here's another fencing issue. There's a lot of damage here to the fences over the last 2 years. Again, more gates have to be fixed.
I don't think I got a picture of the other side. The other side's broken too. I think didn't they break this year? And
Well, it's not actually, yeah, it's what they've done is they've kicked it in towards the pool, and the pole has to be reset. But yeah, there's some work there, and the other gate too as well. There's some work there.
Maybe you can have the gate people for the tennis courts go up and look at that too.
Yep, definitely. If you can add that, or do we have to make an amendment to that? Joyce, do we have to make an amendment?
You do.
Okay, so I'll amend my proposal to include the fencing at Emery Park.
How do we work? I don't know how that works. Do I just ask for a redo?
Just make a separate motion, John, to have two fence companies give some estimates for the fence repair at Emery Park also.
Okay, so we'll have another estimate for the Emery Park gate repairs.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion?
Who was the second?
Kate.
Sorry. Okay.
As you can see, the bushes are overgrown, but we can't cut those until the fall. I've been trying to get to it for the last 2 years, but something's always come up. If you can go back to the other slide, we're at the first one on the pool, Diane. I know you can't do both. I'm sorry. So yeah, we're in sad shape here. We have to drain the pool, so that's something that we'll have to get the Public Works to open up the drain and drain that out. And then we'll have to get somebody to come in and fix the pond and also the sand areas and do patching and repair. If we want to use the pool for this year. If we don't want to use the pool, we can just drain it and just leave it until the fall. That's up to you guys, what you want to do. But I think you should make a decision tonight.
So we just need to back up because we still have an open motion, don't we? Or did we do that?
No, I just got
On
the
the full
fence.
Did we make this? Did we vote on the second one? We're still in discussion.
No, we did,
Thank you.
didn't we?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
thought-
Kate seconded it.
But right, but then we went into discussion. Did we actually vote?
Well, let's take it again. Everybody in favor of the gate system, of the gating, of the gate?
For every part?
Aye.
Yes.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Thank you.
That's what happens when Leslie's not here. We get sidetracked. But as you can see, it's in bad shape. So it's up to you guys what you want to do with it. Are you going to have a camp this year? One of the questions should be. You can have a
I-
camp without the pool. I mean, there's a lot of different things you can try and do.
Well,
I think with, go ahead, Blake.
I was going to say, I just got something came into my inbox that the governor is expected to lift the outdoor COVID restrictions as of May 1st. So we would be able to probably run a camp. You know, last year we couldn't. So things will be a little bit different this summer.
Okay, that being
I've
said,
also heard,
go ahead, Lynn.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Sorry.
I've also heard from a couple different townspeople, especially the older crowd that goes there, that really, really wants us to keep it open.
Okay, so we'll have to get some bids to clean it up and patch it like we've always done. But in the meantime, we got to get Public Works to open up the faucet down there and drain out the pool.
Okay.
Is that just something we can put in motion, or do we have to vote on that?
I don't think we need to vote
Somebody
on
that
that.
usually does that.
Yeah, Billy McCann usually does it. He has a good price all the time, but you still, I guess, you still have to put it out there to vote for
Okay.
bid, I guess. Am I right, Joyce?
Yes.
I mean, there's a lot of work there. It takes him a good 3 days to get all that stuff done. And he does a real good job compared to the guy that we used to have that charged us 4 times as much money. So we're actually saving money every time that Billy does it. So, and also too, we should ask him about the stair guides here. They're kind of shabby. Some of them are broken, so they need to be either repaired or replaced. But that's something we can talk to on whoever wants to contract to do that business as part of the regular pool maintenance. So those ladders are not, 3 of those ladders are not safe.
So that's all part of the estimate.
Right, yep. I'm just wanting to tell you in advance so that you know what's going to happen.
They look so shiny and new. Surprised that they're.
Yeah, not for long.
Yeah.
Can we continue on? Is everybody else set with the pool then?
Mm-hmm.
I was
Okay,
only going to say that if Billy's familiar with the property, it sounds like he's our man to go down there and tell us, like.
Yeah, but we still have to put it out to bid, unfortunately. So,
No, I know. I agree. Right. Sorry.
but there's a lot of. If you could look at the first photo down here on the bottom left-hand corner, you could see where, even though he patched it up at the bottom by these stairs, you can see that it still needs a lot of work. Yeah, there's a lot of cracking here and stuff like this. So, yeah, can you go back one more, Diane, to that gate? Yeah, because like, oh, wrong one. The first one there. Yeah, I mean, that has to be repaired. But I mean, it's as long as we can. Yeah, Billy should be able to take care of most of the stuff there. No problem. He usually rakes up all the sand, takes care of that, and all the way towards the eastern side is a problem with sand as well. So he usually takes care of all that stuff, but he does good work.
Yeah, so he knows what to do. That's good. Okay.
Yeah. But we still have to put out the bid. So can we go to the next slide section, Diane? The feeder pond.
The feeder pond?
Yep, the feeder pond.
Okay. Okay, should I start here?
Yep, that's fine. That's fine. So as you can see, the beaver dam has been removed. That was there.
Oh, great.
This isn't a beaver dam over here. I thought that was a beaver dam. It's this thing.
No, it's just the tree that fell in and all the garbage is collected there. See the tree? Oh, maybe you're right. Hang on a second. Can you enlarge?
I thought it looked like something was going on there, some construction.
Yeah, look, let me see that. Do that again.
This one?
Yeah, I'm not mobile enough to get out there and look myself, but Yeah, they're back again. Okay, so we have to get this, we have to destroy that. So we're gonna need,
Oh,
we're gonna need somebody to go in there and take care of that.
But didn't we establish that there are only certain times of year when that can happen? And if we've missed our window, what does that do to using the pool this summer?
So, yeah, so that's a good point. So if we can't use that water to fill the pool with between now and July, we're in big problems unless we can tank in some water, which would cost us 3 times as much. So yeah, that's something we should investigate again. I think it was there is one time, I think it's in the summertime is when they leave the nest, the beavers, but I'd have to look that up to make sure. Well, actually, Blythe, you could find out from your department.
From good old Lori.
Yep, Lori Doss, yep. And this was one of the projects that she liked to work on, so.
Well, I'm actually Googling it. Beaver trapping in Connecticut. January 1st to March 31st.
Oh, we
And
missed the window.
December 1st to December 31st.
We missed the window then.
So
Okay.
if we have a beaver, we have missed the window. If we have muskrats or weasels or, well, we've missed those windows too. So forget that. We've missed all the windows.
Okay, great. That's nice.
All windows closed.
All right, so that puts the pool fix up. We're gonna have to put that aside unless we can afford to tank in some water.
John, even if we tank in water, doesn't that beaver water get into the pool?
No, it's as you can go to the first shot, or close up this photo if you can. Close it up a little bit. Let's go back one more.
This
Go
one?
to the first, yeah, that one there. As you can see, there's that on the bottom left-hand side. There's that tub. There's like a septic, yeah, right there. That one leads into the pool. So once that's above the ground, and if we tilt it up more and cover it, no water will get into the pool. So that's the feeder pipe for the pool right there in the bottom where the arrow is.
So everything is now piggybacking on everything else. We've got to
Right.
figure out how much the water it would cost for us to bring water in at this
Right.
point. And if that is prohibitive, then there's no point in getting a estimate for the fencing or doing any of that other work.
I don't know, even if we can't use the pool, shouldn't we be doing whatever maintenance we need to do? Wouldn't that be maybe? Looks like there's,
Well, we normally do a lot of maintenance because of COVID earlier last year. We had to postpone the swimming pool area, so we're about a year behind. But I thought we had paid for the removal of the dam, the beaver housing. Is there any way you can look that up, Lynn?
Yeah, Leslie told us it had been done.
Yeah.
We have a money back guarantee.
Either that or they're pretty quick at rebuilding.
I'll go down tomorrow and look and see if it looks like an active dam.
Is it possible it's not a beaver dam?
That's correct. I'll go down tomorrow and look, and I'll get a hold of Brent Kallstrom because he's the expert on the beaver trapping in Kent, and he'll know exactly if we need a special permit to get them out or not. He might be able to get a special permit from the DEP because I know they allow other people to trap on Hatch Pond when it backs up.
Yeah, that does look like a nest that never was touched. Yep, you're right.
Yeah, that would be great, Ed. Thank you.
Okay, I'll find out tomorrow.
Okay, we can move on to the next set of slides.
You want to go to the culvert?
Yep, the culverts, yeah.
All right, this is at South Commons, and that's Lila.
So as you can see, back in 2019, we applied for a permit from the Planning and Zoning to redo this. It was okayed. So ever since then, it's been deteriorating. As you can see, it's getting worse and worse. This is cause of heavy rains and improper drainage. We need to, this is a big liability for the town and for the commission members. So I think Rick should put this at the top of his list, because it's not only this side of going in, but also the other side when people come out. Have you got that shot? There it is, right? Yep, right there. So as you can see, it's falling apart completely. So I think we should talk to Rick. And make that happen. Everybody agree?
Absolutely.
Yes.
It's getting narrow, more narrow and more narrow. I'm wondering if one day the whole thing's gonna collapse.
Doesn't look
Yeah.
good. It looks all washed out underneath.
It is, yeah. I mean, patching it up's not going to do it. I mean, you got to redo the whole thing. And back in 2019, it was scheduled to happen, but it never came about. So it's something that needs to be done right away. Otherwise, it's a big lawsuit, as you can see.
You just keep adding stuff here and it just keeps washing out.
Yeah. Yeah. We could even make it, instead of being a 1-lane one, we could, you know, in the new construction, maybe make it a 2-lane one, so it'd be easier. But that's, you know, to be discussed later on. But definitely we need to address this real quick. I mean, I personally, I don't want to be responsible for this. I mean, we've notified, we're going to notify the town, and it's up to them to take care of it.
I think an expert needs to look at that and make sure that it's safe to drive on at all. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, as soon as possible, right?
Yep.
How do we make that report?
Well, based on the photos, we feel that the Public Works Department needs to repair and replace the Kent Commons entrance to Commons Park.
But John, I would also just say, just to determine, they need to determine whether it's safe to drive on, whether we need to close it. Do you know what I mean? Like
Well, I think the whole idea back then in 2019 was to replace the whole thing.
But before it's replaced, we need to know if it needs to be closed until it can be replaced, right?
Right.
Right.
And if it was on the priority list 2 years ago, it should be on the priority list now.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. But as you can see, that's dangerous. I mean, what's a cone going to do to stop somebody? I mean, you know.
Yep.
It's a liability for us.
Can I make a recommendation?
Yep.
I would vote as a Park and Rec Commission that until further review, the road should be closed. Notify the first selectman of your opinions, because there is a current call before you dig going across that road. So somebody has been looking at it recently. And that would be my recommendation, and then leave it up to the first selectman and the highway foreman. And that way the liability would be off the Park and Rec Commission and members. If you don't at least send a request for further review, that you recommend it be closed until review, and that you have at least some agreement with an engineer or the highway foreman that it's safe to travel across, that would be just as easy. I would recommend it be closed until you get, the town says, nope, it's fine, don't worry about it.
I would agree with that.
Agree with that.
Yeah, is it possible that people could in the meantime park by the fire department somewhere?
They can park in the circle there. They can't park in the fire department.
The circle.
Yep.
Where's the circle? Oh, the circle. Okay. Right before, and then walk across. Okay.
Yeah. Does everybody agree with that suggestion from Ed?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Lynn, you want to call it?
What do you want me to call? You want a motion? You just want to reach
Yeah,
out to
make a
them?
motion. Yeah.
I'm not, go ahead. I am not, I don't care for that idea. But
What would you rather see done?
I would rather see it dealt with immediately, but not close the road. But I'm not an engineer. I have not looked underneath it. I don't know the extent, if it's just on these edges or if it makes the road really unsafe. So I'm not exactly knowledgeable in that area, but I tend to think that it's not road closable, but again, I don't.
But
don't know.
that doesn't have to be our call. What we're trying to do here is we're trying to make sure that the liability doesn't fall to the Park and Rec Commission because we've taken no action. We're making a recommendation that the road, that the road be closed until it can be examined by an engineer. And then we give it to the town. And then it's up to the town. If the town wants to say, well, we're not going to close it, but we'll get an engineer out here, then it's not on us anymore.
Exactly. Exactly.
That's the whole point of this, is to say that Park and Rec felt that the road looked to them in their, we are not expert status, to be very unsafe. And we recommended that the town consider closing the road until it can be fixed as quickly as possible. But then we just kind of, we're wiping our hands of the liability.
Right.
And when does that happen? The town crew is pretty busy.
Well, I would think this would be a priority. I mean, look at it. I mean,
I would think that if we close it, if we make the decision to close it, that's going to light a little fire on everybody to make. All we need is somebody to go over there who's an expert to look at it and be like, no, you've got a couple more years with this.
Just the town engineer needs to go over, whoever that is.
All we need is somebody who knows what they're talking about to say, no, you're fine.
Right.
And we're not closing
We
the-
ourselves are not closing that road. We are
Yeah.
making a recommendation that the road be closed.
Right.
And then the town picks it up from there and
Yeah,
hopefully moves very quickly.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
need a motion on that, or you're all set?
Make a motion away.
I'll make the motion that the Parks and Rec Commission recommends that the road be closed until an engineer is able to review it. Am I missing
Does
anything?
it have to be in? Can I have a second on that?
Second.
Second.
Discussion?
What do we call that? The access over the culvert, the park access over the culvert? The park access road.
Off of Swift Lane, isn't it?
That's Templeton Farms Road.
Oh.
And there is only one culvert, so yes.
I believe it's called Templeton Farms Road.
Okay. Templeton Farms Road, culvert into park.
What's
In-
Swift
into
Lane then?
South Commons Park, okay.
My only question on the motion would be, does it have to be an engineer? Or I thought you were saying, like, if Rick comes over and checks it.
Well, I think it's the towns, then it falls to the town to decide who they send over to take a look at it.
They're expert, whoever they want it to be.
I mean, Rick. can
Right, but our
close-
motion says an engineer.
Well, Rick can decide to close the road, but they, again, it's our recommendation that an engineer look at it. If Rick wanders over there and he says, looks fine to me, we're not going to do anything, that's still, we've done our due diligence. But my guess is that Rick is going to be more responsible and go over there and say, haha, that's probably a good idea. Let's get the engineer out here as quickly as possible. You need somebody formally to look at that.
We
that road.
could say instead of by an engineer, we could make the motion until the town determines it's safe.
Leave it up to town to decide who's gonna review it and make the decision.
You want to redo the motion?
You can amend the motion. We'll put that in, Julia, if you want, or you can leave it the way it is.
We can amend it. It doesn't have to be an engineer until the town reviews it and determines it's safe.
A second on the amended motion.
Second.
Any discussion on it? All those in favor? Say
Aye.
aye, please.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Aye, thank you.
Okay, so Diane, when you're ready, we'll go to the next set.
You want to look at the
Emery Park, yep.
Emery Park Road?
Yep, that's fine. That's good. So,
Let me just see. Yeah, I guess that's the first one. This is the road going down.
this is going down from the parking lot to Emery. The driveway is pretty much shot. It's got a lot of potholes in it. It's too dangerous for anybody to drive down there right now, unless you're in a truck. So I taped it off last year.
It's very steep. It's you can't tell. It's pretty steep here.
There's a lot of potholes on either side, as you can see, going down. It's too dangerous for a car to go down there. So we have to keep that taped off for now, until maybe the town can come and repair some of that stuff.
That also would need to be fixed immediately because that is our handicap
no.
access.
Oh, yes, right. That's true. You're right. You're absolutely right. Yep. And this would lead up to the barn, the shed, if we continued further down. Do you have any more, Diane? Yeah.
No, you know what? I just took pictures down to where the drainage issue was. Not
Okay.
I mean, I have those other pictures in the other file from the other meeting.
Okay, that's no problem. We'll just go with what we got. All right, so
What do you
at
want?
Emery Park, in case you guys haven't been there, there's also a culvert that goes up to the bigger field. And that's it there. And it's also washed out too.
Still here.
It needs to be regraded. And if we go further up to the top of the screen, it's been washed out completely. Over there by the logs, there's a big deep hole. So people want to be getting out there pretty soon and they want to explore the parks. And right now our condition of the parks is not that great. This is kind of hazardous.
Oh, yeah. Yikes.
That's just a walking path though.
Actually, they use it
Right,
for the
that's not-
lawnmower. That's the path that
Oh,
goes,
well.
the lawnmower goes right to the
But-
top.
There's not vehicles driving on this.
There has been several vehicles on there before, not authorized. But as you can see, there's damage there as well over the last year or so. And the dog always wants to get in the picture.
Well, is
So
this
you-
the kind
it's
of
been
thing?
washed.
Is this the kind of thing where we're looking at making another recommendation that the town's road crew look at what can be done to shore up the?
Yes,
Yeah.
as you can see, the drainage here, yes, you're
Yeah.
right. You're right, Blythe, yeah. They could probably maybe cut a path so that the water doesn't go down onto the culvert area at the top there of that photo. Maybe you have like a small drainage that goes away from there. But as you can see, the water comes right down and washes right out and takes away a lot of the soil that's near the culverts here, which is going to cause a problem. But anybody walking down there now, it's treacherous. It's very dangerous. And again, I wouldn't want the liability for that.
Well,
this-
I mean, is it?
I
is
don't
it
think
bad
yet.
enough-
Let's,
Is it bad enough
Yeah.
up top to, to recommend just kind of doing that same, making that same kind of recommendation that we recommend that the road
Yes.
be
Yes.
closed from the top parking lot all the way to the shed, the barn, whatever it is, and that that the road crew, until it can be made. I mean,
Safe.
made
Made safe.
safe. I mean, this is a different kind of not safe. But maybe if there are potholes they can fill, if there's something they can do with this big hole, if they can fill the culverts in or redirect the water somehow, they should be looking at that.
Yeah.
I don't know if this one is as important as the road.
Yeah, but you
If
know
this
what?
is
You're
just
opening
part of the
yourself up
walking
with
trail.
something like this. Yeah, well, something like this, Lynn, when you see something like this, you're opening yourself up to liability. Somebody might say, well, I could just put my foot in there and say that I fell in a hole.
And I think the point is to get it on the books.
Right,
Um,
exactly.
They may only decide to go down and fill up a couple of holes.
Right.
But at least, then 2 years from now, when it's worse, we say, look, our recommendation then was to close the road and do grading and all these other things. And you filled some holes, which was great, but that was 2 years ago. These are access roads that the townspeople use.
Exactly.
This one's just a walking trail.
Actually, cars drive down there. When that, pretty soon you'll see that tape will be broken and people will be driving down there.
Is this still on this is still on the road going down? I thought this was part of the
No,
trail
that's
going.
that's the road that's going up to the field, the backfield.
Yeah, that one, regardless if they're doing it or not, that is a walking trail.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, if we want to put things in line of importance, because the Public Works Department is extremely busy. And
Well, again, I think it's the
it
responsibility.
should be on the list, but
Yeah. I mean,
I
and
don't
that's
think
the thing,
it's
if you-
as much
if
of a priority.
Yeah, I agree with you, but I think if you ask them to look at the whole road, then they'll look, the things we're going to do, the things that we feel need to be done right now, and they'll do that right now, and we'll know what they've done, and then
They're not going to,
they're not going to do the whole thing.
or right now.
I think it's I think it is a matter of just bringing it to their attention, Lynn. I don't think it's saying that we're saying that you have to fix this. It's just something that they need to give some attention to. I'm sure they probably have other things they need to do first, but
Sure. Absolutely.
it's kind of our job, I would think,
Radar.
kind of bring their attention to it. I mean, if something did ever happen, they'd say, how come we didn't know about this? Or how come, commission never said anything to us?
I'm not saying it doesn't need help at some point. I'm just saying the road down there needs to be fixed, because that is our handicap access, and we will not be able to open the park without that.
Yes.
And the fact that we're going to be able to have camp, I think we should do what we can do to give the kids something to do this summer.
Yeah, but that's this road we're looking at right now, and it's in pretty bad shape.
Yes, that one has had problems for a long time. Did you want to say something, Ed?
Well, just it's also your emergency access for the ambulance to go down there also.
Yeah.
That's the big one. And that's what it used to be originally for. It used to be considered for the lifeguards and for the emergency serve. And then they added the handicap.
And anybody that's stuck on the trail.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying in general. Yep.
And we could actually say in the motion, with priority paid to, emergency and, fire access towards the, for the pool area.
Yep.
And handicap access.
Right.
Do we need a motion for that, or are you going to just?
Who's going to reach out to the town? I know they're here, but officially.
Who's reaching out to the town on the other road?
Well, Ed's our representative for the town.
If you make the motions, I'll present it. That's fine with me.
Okay.
I can't believe they, like I said, the box culvert was already ordered years ago for the Common Park one, just never done. So I don't know why that just got left and abandoned years ago.
So if somebody wants to make a motion to add that, or another motion for that part, for Emery Park,
Emery Park driveway, yeah.
go ahead, John.
No, I was going to say, Blythe had a great idea. Go ahead, Blythe.
Wow. Okay, so are we recommending that it's like the last one, that it be closed, or just that the town look at the state of the road?
Well,
The
let's
state of the
already-
road and emergency repairs need to be done before the park opening.
Okay. All right,
It's not that big of a deal to fill what those holes are
yeah,
and to patch.
okay, so, a motion to recommend to the Board of Selectmen that the Emery Park Road from the upper parking area,
to the lower access, to the lower access.
yeah, to the lower, through the lower access, be examined, be evaluated for safety reasons, particularly prioritizing handicap and emergency access and culvert repair.
That is a long motion.
Yeah, I know.
All right.
Trying to get it all in there. I don't know.
Did you get it all in, Diane?
Does that have to be verbatim? Because I didn't do the other ones.
You can go back on the recording and do it for you.
All right, the last meeting, I don't know when they're gonna post the recording of it, so
Joyce can send it to you.
okay.
No, it would be on the website. I don't have it. I didn't do the last meeting.
Okay, but what about this one? Are you going to put it on the website, or are you going to put it
Yep.
on?
Yep, I'll put it on the website. It should be there tomorrow.
Great, there you go.
All right, I'll do it tomorrow night. Thank you.
So that was my motion.
Okay, I'll second it.
Sorry, my phone's dying. We have a second. All those in favor? Yeah, aye?
Bye.
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay.
I think that's all the pictures we have, Diane, right?
I think so, yeah. That's it.
Okay, those were the major priorities for the parks for now, because right now with everybody coming out of COVID, they're going to be out there exploring, and I want to make sure that these two parks are safe as can be right now. So these items that we highlighted today's meeting are a great step forward, and hopefully they can get repaired before people flock out onto the roads and into the parks.
And
That's
Ed, thank you for your help.
Well, no, this was combined effort. I'm not mobile yet, and Diane was nice enough to go and take some pictures, which is really helpful, as you guys can see.
Yeah, that was great. Those were great and very helpful. And I'm just thanking Ed in advance, because it's Ed who gets to take those, from our meeting to the selectmen.
Right. I think it's just a shame that it's gone on this long to get repairs done that should have been done all along. Maintenance repairs on these things.
Yeah, well, the planning and zoning approved it in 2018, so yeah, you're right.
Right. I know, and it's still marked "call before you dig" on the roads. Somebody must have just called about it recently. So.
And we should be advised of any progress too, by the way, Ed, if you can get that information to us.
Well, if we don't get any progress, you're going to have to close the road.
Yep.
Plain and simple. Put cones across it, say road closed, and that'll take the liability off the park and rec. And if they decide to open it back up, then it's their headache completely. So if you don't get any progress, I would say within 2 weeks, you need to take some pretty aggressive steps.
Okay. So that's the roadways. Those are the top things that were important right now to get done, because people are out there, like I said before, they're going to be out there getting some exercise. Unfortunately, our parks aren't that great right now, but they can be better. And so if we take care of some of these hot items right now, it'll be fantastic and safe for everybody. The other thing that you can get out of this now, Diane.
Yep.
So the other thing is is Commons Park, and we need to get some extra fill, because some of that fill washed out on the pathways. So we need to purchase some of that, and somebody needs to spread that. Also, too, I gave Ed a big list for just the Commons Park. You still have that list, Ed?
Yes, I do.
Good. And Ed will be doing the, I'm hoping that he'll be doing the vinegar spraying on the pathways to keep the weeds down. And we need to have somebody from the tree companies to look at the trees to make sure that there's no risk aversion there. There might be some dead branches, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But we want to make sure that that's done. I usually do that on a monthly basis. That keeps up with everything. I don't remember what else was on that list that I gave you.
It's on my desk. Who do you usually get the stone dust from for the walk? Do you know, John?
Rick usually gets it.
Okay. All right. I'll ask him about it.
Okay.
And then who's he bill that to? Who pays the bill for that?
I don't know. I haven't seen any bills. I don't take care of that, so I don't know.
Okay.
All right. I don't know how many yards you're going to need.
Well, they sell it in the tons anyway, by the ton.
Whatever. Yeah. Okay.
And if you're going to get enough, you might as well have enough there to even leave in a pile over in the corner of the parking lot, because you can always use it.
Otherwise, if we do that, the rock lady from Templeton Farms will be over and taking our rocks.
She won't be taking stone dust, though.
So going further on the parks projects, I mean, we could concentrate right now on a lot of the things to do with Emery Park and Commons Park to get them all ready for people. Are we going to have a summer camp? We do need to drain that pool. That's something that should be, we need the Public Works to do that for us. And I'll work on getting people for the gates on a locking system and repairs. Since I'm home, I'm not mobile.
Do we need wood chips anywhere, John?
We got plenty of wood chips. I'm just hoping that these guys will spread them for me. They promised that they would spread them. And I'm not there to see it, so I don't know what the process right now.
Who's these guys? Town
We've
crew?
got, well, we have Bartlett, we have Russell.
Oh, the tree guys, okay.
Yeah, the
okay,
tree
I was gonna say Russell said he had chips.
Yeah, well, the only problem is that he doesn't bother to spread them, unfortunately. So, and Bartlett usually Bartlett usually comes and spreads it with the machine that they have. But I mean, it should be a fair amount. I mean, Russell should be spreading some of those chips.
Do we have piles of chips yet? Have they been brought in?
Yeah.
Where are they?
Well, you got some up at Emery Park, and you've got you have two big piles up there at Commons Park in the top towards the Commons Road.
Okay.
All right, so those have to be spread. What was the other thing I said? Oh, we might
There's
have to
pressure washing.
Yeah, pressure washing, and then also the other thing was for the tennis courts, and also the vinegar, weed control, vinegar. You were going to check on that, Ed?
Well, you said Rick would be getting that in, so.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying, I mean, see what's there left over. I mean, there's like probably 250 gallons left of vinegar in there.
Right. Well, you don't want to put it out quite yet, a little bit longer.
Okay.
It's not, the path isn't that bad right now anyway, so I'll talk to Rick about it.
Okay, great. All right. So that's about it from the parks.
John, did we decide are we draining the pool and are we fixing the pool or not? Are we waiting for all that?
Well, we should drain the pool. I think I said that before. We have to get the Public Works Department to open up the drain and drain out the pool. And then we have to test the water, the feeder water, or we could get water brought in to fill the pool. That's up to you guys later on. But I think the process right now is to just empty out the pool, get a bid from anybody that wants to do the work. And I'll draw up a list of what has to be done normally on the pool, on the maintenance. And that's about it for now.
So
Just a FYI.
You're gonna draw up a list of maintenance and get some quotes.
Yep.
Just an FYI, our bylaws or whatever I was looking at says that we have to send things out for bid that exceed $1,000
Yeah, that's not
makes
for any single purchase.
Yep, that's fine. No problem. The lock system would be incorporated with the gate company or the pool company, whichever one. Oh, one more thing. Yes, the playground equipment. Since I'm not mobile, I usually do like a monthly check on the playground equipment and point out any rusty spots or spots that need to be repainted, and the chain systems for the swings. And I also check on the plastic to see if on the plastic playground and Commons Park to see if it's any sharp edges. So somebody has to do that.
You better get mobile, dude. You got a lot to do.
I've got my list to do. Yeah, but yeah.
I think this list should also start at some point being added to the Park and Rec director, this job.
Oh yeah.
It's something that Park and Rec director needs to start doing. And also, when is your cutoff date going to be? Because you're going to have to start advertising for lifeguards and everything else at some point. You're already in the third week in
Like
April
now.
almost.
Yeah.
So your decision really is going to have to be dependent on the beaver dam in the back, the water quality, if the park's going to get cleaned, or do you know, and if you don't have a park director to make sure all this stuff is operating every day, who is?
Okay, so we skipped the Parks Master
Right.
Plan.
I don't think we got to that far yet.
Okay, all right.
That's next, though.
Okay,
Is there anything else on parks?
well, that's it for me.
Okay, so Mark's master plan is next. Is there anything on that?
Well, the committee hasn't gotten together in a while,
Mm-hmm.
but I think we should ramp it up. I mean, there's money in the budget. Well, we don't know how much, but I know that we talked before about splitting some of that money that was designated for Emery Park to go over to Commons Park if needed. So,
It's playground money. We don't know that
Yeah.
it's attributed to a park.
okay,
We could check into that though.
Yeah.
All right, 5-year capital plan. Do you think we have anything on that? Anyone have anything they want to say on that? Not time, it's already been through. Sports program, baseball status. I'm guessing either I or maybe John, since it's a phone call, try to reach out to maybe Sharon Park and Rec director and see if there's any new news on the baseball program. So if there is, we can advertise for that.
I can also call COPRA or Connecticut Park and Recreation Association to see what they got from the state of Connecticut.
Well, the area Park and Rec directors are like Region 1 people are supposed to be doing a baseball team this year, right? That Leslie was in the middle of, they were having meetings.
Yeah, they were in the middle of having those meetings, yeah.
So maybe, what's his name, Matt, whatever. Or like I said, one of the other park directors in this area that we can get the status of that team. I don't know
Okay,
if
I
it
can
was all put together.
All right, I can call up and find out. I can also talk to Connecticut Public Parks and Rec to see what the ruling is as of now on what they're doing for parks, for baseball, soccer, and stuff like that.
I would call the director first. He's probably got that information, but maybe not.
And Sharon?
Yeah, she did a lot of work with him and Sharon. For this particular one that Region 1 directors are putting together.
Okay, I can do that.
Anyone else?
Lynn, just to be clear,
Yeah.
we're looking at baseball and soccer, or just baseball?
I think
At this
right now. soccer.
Right,
team.
I think it's just baseball right now because of this program that they're putting together for the summer.
Okay.
But, I mean, if you want to work on, well, we'd have to have somebody come to us for summer soccer or something, put that together. I don't know. I don't
Okay,
think
so
we should
we'll
be
just
taking
kind-
on any more things right now.
Okay, so yeah, we'll just do baseball. Okay, got it.
Yeah, like I said, just checking in with them to see where this current program that they've been working on, what the status of it is.
Okay, great. And what was his last name again? Mark?
Minetti, Mark,
Mark Gazzetti?
no, Minetti, no,
Minetti?
Mark's, no, something like that.
Maybe Joyce knows.
I don't
She
know.
lives up there.
Mark Met, or is that somebody?
Matt Meddy.
Scott, oh,
Yeah,
Matt
Say
Metti.
again?
Yep.
Maddie? Okay, great. Thanks. I'll call him tomorrow.
All right. Anyone else have anything
You-
to say about the sports programs?
No, I say, do you want to, I'll get back to you, Lynn, with whatever I come up with right away, so you can plan ahead, okay?
Okay. Let's see. But monthly budget report, we don't know, but I will reach out to Barbara to see if she can get something to us.
If you haven't
Um,
spent any money out of the park maintenance budget that you know of, you still had $16,000 in the budget.
When's that from, Ed?
That's last year's budget, but that was updated 3/11.
Wow.
311, so
Is
we
that-
haven't, yeah,
I'm not
Okay.
positive if there was any expenditures, but it's showing here $16,000 was anticipated and the budget was 16,000.
okay. Again, I'll reach out to Barbara to see if that's updated. If that's the most current one she has available for
Okay.
us.
Yep.
Because we didn't get that.
We haven't
So-
gotten two of them. We haven't gotten any of them for the last 2 months.
We haven't gotten any for a while.
Yep.
I'll have to look back. Let's see, last budget. Look back and see what the last budget report that we got from Leslie was. Okay, anything else on the budget report, questions? We'll have that for the next meeting. Easter event follow-up. Julie or Diane?
I think that I think the Easter event was a success. We had probably close to 25 entries across
Awesome.
different age groups, and we had 40 voters participate in deciding the winners. Diane put together really wonderful prize baskets with age-appropriate rock painting materials and stuff like that. And then we also had goodie bags for pickup at Town Hall for all of the participants. We should remember for next year that not all of the participants came to pick up the bags. Joyce will know better than I would how many were left over, but we held on to everything that wasn't perishable. But we got really positive feedback from everybody who participated. And it seemed like a great event that it would be a good thing to have in addition to an egg hunt next year.
Great.
Recommended.
Was that ever published on our website?
You know, Leslie didn't put it on the Parks and Rec webpage. Diane did a lot of posting to the town community page on Facebook.
Yeah.
And then I did a lot of communication then with people directly for the voting and stuff for the participants also. But I don't think that she put anything on the Parks and Rec webpage.
Is there any way we can transfer some of that information over that people were happy about it and everything like that? We definitely need some good PR.
I only saw one entry on the Kent Facebook page. One thing, I think that was one of the adult ones. That's why I'd asked.
What do you mean one announcement?
Yeah,
I put I thought I put a couple on announcing it. I posted the link to the, I put a couple on. And then
Now I saw Bonnie Joe's.
yeah, before that I put, I announced it and I put the link to the,
Oh, okay, but you didn't put the actual eggs up there. The painted rocks.
I did. I said I
Okay.
put a congratulations on there. I can send you the link. I can find the post and I can send you a link to it. I put a congratulations to the winners and I put the names of the winners and I posted the pictures. They all sent me pictures of themselves holding their gifts and their rocks.
Oh, cute,
All
good.
the winners except Bonnie Joe, which is the adult. She, but for next year, I mean, there's a couple things that I thought we could do a little more. We could do probably a better job announcing it. It was kind of weird because it got going late and then we didn't have a lot of time between them getting we announced it and I think it was like they had to be done within like a week or so. Was it, Julie? I don't remember. It had to.
They had a little more time. I think that they had 2 weeks, and it was announced through Kent Center School, and then also I think that the tricky part about timing was also that all of this was happening during Leslie's last week, which when we planned for all of it, we didn't know that that was going to be the case. So then Diane and I were doing a little bit of triage kind of that week, trying to get it together while Leslie was so kindly like trying to leave everything in good order with the rest of her work. But like we had tried to, I wasn't able to access the Parks and Rec Facebook page or didn't have access to the Parks and Rec webpage in general to post some of this stuff. So that timing was tricky, but all in all, I think it went over well and was a good event, but unfortunately it was also the week that we lost our director. So
Yeah, I know it was a kind of a weird time, and I also I think I mean there was a couple of like mental notes I made like next year if we decide to do it in addition to the egg hunt, it is kind of a fun thing to do, and it's an easy thing for Park and Rec to do. I thought it would be a cool idea if COVID is all gone by then. Well, one thing I did was I had left some when I brought some rocks over to the town hall for Leslie because she did the rock painting of the after school program. And I wanted her to leave the rocks. And I had put a note on the community page if there's some rocks on the town hall steps, if you can't find your own. But I think she misunderstood me. And then she left them when she was done taking what she wanted. She left them on my front porch. Or either that or for some reason they didn't want them on the steps of the town hall. But I thought it might even be fun for us to set up a little tent over, you know, in the middle of town there where the benches are, where, you know, on a weekend, we could do a day or two on the weekend and we can set up a big table and we can let people come and paint. We could supply rocks and even paint pens and let people sit down on a nice day. And if there is a nice day, you know, in the spring, which we had a couple, and they could just come and sit and paint rocks. It'd be like a little activity to do and then they could wanted to. I mean, there's ways we could get people a little more involved in it, but I know the winners were really happy. They were really excited. And the rocks were cute.
Yeah, I want to see people's designs, what they came up with. All set with that, ladies? Good job.
Thank you.
Yeah, nice job, guys.
Okay, we'll move on to the concert series. Can somebody remind me where we left off on that?
I think we had agreed.
Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, you go. You go.
I think we had agreed that we were going to basically partner with the Land Trust.
Yep.
And were there, I feel like there were some separate notes or minutes or something about that.
I think Leslie said she reached out to all the bands and they were ready to return, and we might have to try to find or either look back at the minutes. That should be in the minutes or in her director's report.
There was only 2 bands from last, I was there most of the time. There was only 2 bands that really didn't draw a lot, but other than that, it was very successful. I mean, there was only myself there from the Park and Rec. But they had a lot of volunteers from the Lions Club and from the Land Trust, so it worked out well.
Can somebody take that job on to get in touch with the Land Trust and see where we're at and see what needs to be done?
Yeah, I can talk to Connie. I've got plenty of time on my hands.
Okay, thank you, John.
I'm looking back in the minutes right now as we move forward.
Okay.
So what are you looking for specifically? Help or participating?
Partly to see where Leslie left off with discussion with them and what the next steps are, I guess.
Okay, you got it.
It looks like in the minutes from the March 15th meeting, Leslie said that our consensus was to contact the Land Trust about co-sponsoring the event, define what co-sponsor is paying for, have the concerts in the evenings, 6 to 8 in the Land Trust field, and invite the bands to perform. And there was an attachment to the minutes document. Ooh, where? Was there an attachment? I don't know. It says there was an
In
attachment.
July?
Yeah, it said Leslie was going to contact the Land Trust and reach out to the bands. And where are? It said there was an attachment, but there was not. The attachments will be posted on the town website if you need to refer to any of them. But there was only one. The minutes were the only thing that was attached there.
Okay, so I'll talk to Connie and then see if she wants to reach out to the bands, or I will reach out to the bands, but we are going to give them some money, correct? That's how it was worded?
Yeah, I think we had decided we wanted to do the sponsorships again,
Right, okay.
that kind of stuff.
It'd be great if more than one person could show up in the Park and Rec. It'd be great.
What is it? What do you mean, John? When?
Well, whenever the concerts are on, we need help in directing traffic.
I'll show up.
Okay.
Lovely. Next, Mike, you're up. Summer tennis proposal.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we already talked a little bit about this, but again, Julia said she was on board. We're going to do our clinics for beginner ages. And the dates right now tentatively are in July, the 13th and 15th, and then the 20th and 22nd, 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. Leslie let me know that we have an account with a sporting good company that we can order the tennis balls through.
Okay.
And yeah, I guess I can have probably maybe some like a more fleshed out proposal for next month's, and then we can talk about where to post the sign up and setting a fee, just a small fee, just to get people to buy in. And that's really all I have.
You said a beginner's clinic. Are you putting an age on it, or is it?
I was thinking like ages 6 to 11, 6 to 12, kind of.
Okay.
Just at that age you can kind of standardize the experience, but after that there can be kind of huge ranges in ability, and it might be tough to keep everyone engaged.
Okay. Yeah, that'd be great. We'll get that going next month.
Mike, you can go to Davis IGA and get some water too on account.
Great idea. Thanks, John.
Yeah, there is a park and rec account there.
Michael, you said the dates you're looking at are 13, 15, 20, and 22nd of,
July. Yeah, Tuesday, Thursday.
okay.
Cool.
Thanks, Mike.
All right. Summer program status. I don't know if we have anything more to discuss there.
Well, I mean, they're opening up a lot of summer camps. I mean, how do you guys feel about that? I mean, I thought about it really hard, and we're not really up to speed yet. Need a lot more work done. So I was going to say maybe we could take some of that money that we already allocated for a summer program and put it towards like something maybe go in conjunction with Club Getaway, see if they would be interested. Use that money that we have in our account for that summer camp program and offset some of the costs to Club Getaway.
Well, he's got people there all summer. He's hopefully going to have people there all summer.
I mean, we've done it before. We've sent the kids over there for swimming and stuff like that during the summer months.
Yeah, 1 day a week. But we can talk to him.
Do you know his name? Maybe I could do it. I mean, I'm home.
David? That's David Schreiber, right?
Okay, and I'll get back to you ASAP.
Okay.
Does everybody like that idea, or?
I'd like to see Emery Park get opened up and get the camp going there.
But without the pool?
We can get the pool. Depends on, we have some work to do. We got to figure it out, but.
Well, when would we usually be starting to advertise the Emery Park camp and trying to get people signed up? I mean, it's virtually May.
I guess my idea would, like, the Beaver Dam would be the first part of the business. If that is another Beaver Dam, and get Lori down there, have her check it out quick, check the water, and then we do what we normally do every year for the pool and get it opened up and ready. And if we can only offer 6 weeks of camp instead of 8 weeks of camp, so be it. But I'd like to be able to offer something. But yeah, we would have to make that decision fairly quickly so that by next month, or even as soon as we know, if we can get Lori down there quick, even before, our next meeting, obviously, but get her down there quickly and get something going, we can start doing a lifeguard search and counselor search.
Well, I know Ed was going to contact Brett Kallstrom, which I think that might be the way to go. Lori is wonderful, but she is an absolute stickler and wildlife lover, and she'll give you 40 reasons till Sunday why we shouldn't do anything. So if we actually want to look for, I mean, I love her, but I think if we're actually trying, you know what I mean? If we're trying to find somebody who can actually talk to us openly about what our legal options are, it might not be somebody with their heart on their sleeve. In this particular
Brett's a great person to talk to.
Yeah, Ed, Brett is licensed, right, by the state of Connecticut?
Well, yeah, Brett won't do it, but he knows intent because he said he has too many people that are like Lori that love animals and love stuff. But he works with another guy that's state licensed and everything, and he usually does the high risk spots so people won't be mad at Brent Kallstrom for doing it. Put it that way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, and I think also, we did contract with somebody who was supposed to have cleared that thing out.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's not like suddenly now we're going, oh, gee, we never really thought about what happened.
Right. And I think Brent actually found that person that you contracted for to get him out the last time. So I'll get a hold of him and find out what's going on tomorrow.
Brent, what's his last name? Brent?
Kallstrom, Kallstrom.
Right.
Okay, Ed's gonna contact him. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll do that tomorrow, or I'll send him a text tonight if it doesn't get too much later.
This is a long meeting.
You know, whatever, you know, you do, there is, those drainage issues in both parks really should be a priority. I mean, John really said that, and it's, I mean, the tennis court, I mean, I walk all the time in the commons and you can just see where the water's coming down and how it just washes everything. And all this money we put in with the playground, the wood chips or whatever we're going to be using, whether it be rubber or chips or whatever, it just all washes out. And it's a bit of a danger because it creates, you know, these canals where the water is running and around the tennis courts. And I think John is right. It probably should be one of the things that's really a priority. I mean, I don't know if they can look at that when they look at the culvert, but I don't know if that's part of their job, the town, or not.
No,
No, it's not.
no. There already is a curtain drain all the way around Emery Park, but Emery Park technically is nothing but a swamp to begin with. There's 2 or 3 freshwater springs that actually fill Emery Park that come out of the ground. And the common park is, you got a main water course that runs from the top of the hill right down through between the town garage and the tennis court.
A lot of that comes from Commons Park housing.
Well, right. It comes from the whole mountainside up on the top. And there's actually a pipe, all the drainage from the nursing home actually feeds out of a pipe up above also.
Right, and into the pond and into the back. Yeah, you're right.
Correct. Yep.
So
So
that's
it's
something that's not going to be able to be solved because it just washes around the tennis court.
it could be solved, but you got to put it in the capital plan, 5-year capital plan, probably.
Well, it could be part of the park's master plan as well.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's
I mean,
gonna
you
still
still
end up going into the capital plan. You might as well, next year, I think we should get another bunch in there.
Definitely.
Yep. I mean, you've got your ball field maintenance. You have $20,000 in this year's budget.
Really? Holy
Has
cow.
anything been spent on that? It doesn't show it here.
Miranda spent some money.
The 2020-2021 budget is $20,000, but then we cut it because you averaged $3,000 in 2018-19, $7,500 in 2019-2020. So Leslie cut it down to $8,750 in this year for next year's budget.
Yeah, but now
I don't know what you were planning on doing this year, but it certainly didn't get done.
And it's tough
So
it's tough to cut the budget, away from what it was pre-COVID just because you're not spending money during COVID.
right.
That's a slippery slope.
But there's a huge increase, so you must have had something planned to do there.
I think it was a fallback. I think there was a fallback because Marty said he didn't have the money. Miranda's not there, but that
you
was
certainly haven't spent it. It's still there, and you may want to consider doing something before the end of the budget season. That's all I'm saying.
which
Didn't
is
we have
I'm
the
sorry,
ball people come in?
I'm speaking out of turn, but sorry, it's kind of not here, but.
And didn't they come in and at least maintain the infield?
Well, they may have done something, but like I said, this is for March 11th, so.
Gotcha.
But that's a huge increase. It's normally only cost $7,500 for the year
yeah, but I think this year,
under the Kent Center School ball field.
yeah, I think the way the school budget wasn't going to give us that much money this year, Ed.
Okay, but it's in your budget, so whatever.
Yeah, no.
I don't know. All right.
Okay, anything else on summer programs? We got a lot to work on. All right, got through that in 2 hours. New business, Park and Rec interim director search. Who wants to talk?
Ed? Is there an
Doesn't
echo?
want to talk.
Now, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was trying to Zoom text Brent Kallstrom. That's all. I think it's just going to be a matter of when we hear back from the people that apply for the notice that was sent out on Friday. And the three of us will have to decide and present something. And I would hope the board would give some recommendations on what they would like to see. I think the interim is just basically pretty self-explanatory, but you're going to really need to sit down as a board and talk about what you expect from the director to be in the future. How many hours, part-time, full-time? Are they going to be responsible? Well, yeah, or do you want to split it up into two part-time positions? One to run up to make sure the parks are functional and operational, and one that does the administrative work?
Well, I know we were very interested in what the selectmen's stance was on all of this going forward. I think, we weren't really sure. I think the last meeting was the first time we heard about the idea that, that I think it was that the selectmen were talking about splitting the position. And so I think just as much as you guys might want to hear from us about what we want, we're very interested in what your guys' vision is for the position, the full-time.
Be perfectly honest with you, I think Chris just threw it out there because he didn't know exactly how many kids and what you did, and we didn't know anymore whether, because when Chris and I were involved in it, there was baseball, there was basketball, there were soccer programs, there were summer programs operational, summer sports, spring, lacrosse was supposedly going on in Emery Park, and nobody seemed to know exactly. I mean, Leslie kind of just gave us a little list of like 15 things, but never explained to Chris. And if you go and look around the parks, you can see that they're not in very good shape. And so he said, well, maybe we need somebody that can do the park side and then let the administrative person set up the camps and the programs and stuff like that. But he wasn't against one person doing both of them either, if you could find that person. So I think it's really up to the commission to do that more than it is the Board of Selectmen.
Okay, that's helpful.
So that's all I can say, and I just hope that the commission can really sit down and get going on it soon, because you don't want this interim person trying to run the whole, the Emery Park Camp Cannon, Emery Park, because they may just up and quit one day and say, I've had enough of this. I'm not doing it.
Well, basically, it's overseeing the summer parks program. We have a counselor that would be in charge of that.
Right, but I mean, it's still a big responsibility for the interim, I think anyway. And I just think the board's going to need to sit down and come up with that new list of what they expect the director to do, how many hours they think it's going to take.
Well, I think that was really where we came. That's why we had decided we really needed an interim, because we knew it's going to take time to put all that together. So,
right. Yeah. But you'll know if you're even going to get an interim or not pretty soon, hopefully at the end of the 2 weeks. So,
Ed, you said it was announced, the job was announced, so now you're just waiting for applicants at this point?
Yes, that's correct. Yep. In 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. So it's probably a week now, because, this Friday will be the first week, and then it'll be another week after that.
Okay.
So what I was asked to do was to check on the Cornwall part-timer and the Warren part-timer. So the Warren part-timer was the only one that contacted me back. And so he's completely full. His schedule's completely full, as most part-timers are. Usually part-timers have 2 jobs. And he does have 2 jobs, but he said he would look and search for us and help us to find somebody. And still waiting on the Cornwall person. Hopefully that'll come through quickly. But also too, I went to the Connecticut Parks and Recreation Association, and I put the job description on their website, which I got permission from Val. And so we have it in 2 places now. So we'll see what happens. You have a better chance on the Connecticut Public Parks and Recreation than you do probably on Indeed. So we'll see what happens in 10 days or 8 days, whatever.
Cross our fingers.
Yeah.
Anything else on the interim director? Anything to discuss on the director search?
We just have to come up with a job description.
I think using the current job description is, everything is in there. It's just too detailed. We don't need to
Can you send
have
it over?
every little task. Pardon me?
Can you send it over to the 3 of us?
Yeah. I will try to get to that tomorrow. If I
Okay.
have it on.
We have some time.
All right. Anybody have anything else to discuss tonight? We've gotten through a lot.
Anybody know if Abigail had her baby?
Oh, good question. I was thinking about that
She
earlier.
did. She had a baby girl on Saturday evening.
Oh,
Yay!
nice.
Oh, so with that being said, I had sent out an email, but I only heard back from one person on if we want to just send something to Leslie. I don't even know if she's gone yet, but I'm sure if she is, we can find her new address, like sending flowers, something, some sort of thank you. Congratulations on your retirement. Thank you for everything, whatever. No.
Yeah.
Yeah, you mentioned that the last time. I'll donate $15, whatever.
So Michael had the idea because, well, she's not on here, right?
You have to be in the minutes.
No. Well, I don't really want to say it on here in case she decides to watch it later.
If you're watching
But-
it, turn it off, Leslie.
No, she makes, yeah. But we can discuss that, but we might want to send something to her. And what made me think of that again was maybe sending some flowers to Abigail as well.
I think that would be great.
That's a nice idea.
Anybody want to take that on? Have a Venmo or anything that we can send money through to?
I can take on the flowers for Abigail. I have her contact. So.
Okay. Do you have a Venmo or something where we can all send you money?
I do. Yeah, I can send it around.
Okay. Great. Send that to us and see what you collect and go from there, or however you want to handle it.
Okay, great.
And we can basically do the same thing for Leslie if y'all want, but we can discuss that quietly too.
Lynn, maybe send
Not
out
quiet.
an email.
Not quietly.
Maybe send out an email to everybody and we could just see if anybody had ideas and do it that way, kind of offline.
Okay.
I
I did do that, but only one person answered me.
Oh,
I don't know why I didn't see that. I don't remember seeing it. Was it was in a separate email?
I saw it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I'll do another one.
again.
Anything for Leslie.
It's all good.
I saw the email, and I'm sorry. I just don't feel like I ever got to know her well enough to know what would be a good idea. So I'm sorry I didn't.
Yeah.
respond.
It's all right.
Why did
I
I
have
see
to
it and I
jump
just
off to
didn't-
go put some little boys to bed. That apparently that's not happening without me around.
Yeah, I have to.
Night.
Yeah.
We're pretty much done.
Okay.
All right. Are we all set? Does anybody have anything else they want to say? All right. So we will adjourn this meeting at 9:19. We'll see you all on May 17th. We'll see you before that, but next meeting is May 17th at 7 p.m. Have a wonderful
Good night.
evening. Thank you all for staying on.
Thank you.